The Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA, was born from the ashes of World War II. Before its creation, America did not have a permanent spy service. The country was surprised by the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. Leaders realized they needed a system to gather information from around the world. They needed to know what other countries were planning. This painful lesson showed that America could no longer be isolated. It had to understand global threats before they reached its shores. The world was changing quickly, and secrets were a new kind of weapon that needed to be collected and understood to protect the nation. After the war, a new conflict began. It was the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union became global rivals. They had very different ideas about how the world should be run. The Soviet Union was a communist state led by a powerful dictator. Its influence was spreading across Eastern Europe. President Harry S. Truman saw this as a major threat. He knew the United States needed an organization that could spy on the Soviets. It had to be a group that could work in secret, far from the public eye. This need for a dedicated intelligence service was more urgent than ever before. So in 1947, President Truman signed the National Security Act. This law created the CIA. Its main job was clear from the start: to prevent another surprise like Pearl Harbor. The agency was tasked with collecting and analyzing intelligence. It was supposed to provide information to the president so he could make smart decisions about foreign policy. The CIA was designed to be America's eyes and ears around the globe. It was meant to operate quietly in the shadows, uncovering secrets that could protect the country from its enemies. The law gave it the power to conduct secret missions. The creation of the CIA marked a major shift in American policy. The United States was now officially in the business of espionage. The agency was set up to be different from the military or the FBI. It would focus on foreign intelligence, not domestic law enforcement. Its agents would be sent to foreign lands to recruit spies, steal secrets, and understand the plans of other governments, especially the Soviet Union. This new organization would become a central player in the long and dangerous struggle of the Cold War, shaping events in ways few people would ever fully know. During the Cold War, the CIA's primary mission was to stop the spread of communism. This was the core of America's foreign policy, known as containment. The agency was tasked with understanding every move the Soviet Union made. It needed to know about Soviet military strength, its nuclear weapons program, and its political goals. The CIA sent spies to gather this information. They also used technology, like spy planes and satellites, to look deep inside Soviet territory. The goal was to give the president a clear picture of the enemy's capabilities and intentions, ensuring America was always one step ahead. This mission put the CIA in direct competition with the Soviet Union's own spy agency, the KGB. The KGB was a powerful and ruthless organization. It worked to spread communism and steal American secrets. The Cold War became a secret war fought between these two agencies. It was a global battle for information and influence. CIA agents and KGB agents hunted each other in cities all over the world, from Berlin to Havana. Each side tried to recruit spies from the other. This dangerous game of cat and mouse defined the era, with betrayals and secret deals happening far from public view. Espionage became a central part of the Cold War conflict. The information gathered by spies could change everything. For example, knowing about Soviet missile locations could prevent a nuclear war. The CIA and the KGB both tried to place their agents in high-level government positions. A well-placed spy could provide top-secret documents or reveal a country's plans. This rivalry created an atmosphere of deep mistrust. Both the United States and the Soviet Union feared that the other side had a secret advantage. This fear often pushed them to take bigger risks in their spy operations. The competition was not just about stealing secrets, it was also about shaping events. The CIA and the KGB both used covert operations to influence foreign governments. They supported political parties they liked and tried to overthrow leaders they did not. They spread propaganda to win the hearts and minds of people in other countries. This shadow war had a huge impact on the world. It turned small local conflicts into major international crises. The fight between the CIA and the KGB was a constant, invisible struggle that defined the entire Cold War period. The CIA carried out many famous and risky missions during the Cold War. One of the most well-known was the U-2 spy plane program. These special planes could fly at very high altitudes, far above the reach of Soviet defenses. They were equipped with powerful cameras that took detailed pictures of the ground below. For years, the U-2 planes flew over the Soviet Union, gathering vital intelligence about military bases and missile sites. This program gave the United States a secret window into the Soviet Union's most protected areas, providing information that was impossible to get otherwise. However, these missions were incredibly dangerous. In 1960, a U-2 plane piloted by Francis Gary Powers was shot down over the Soviet Union. Powers survived the crash and was captured. This event became a major international incident. It proved to the world that the United States was spying on the Soviets. The incident was a huge embarrassment for President Eisenhower and damaged relations between the two superpowers. It showed how high the stakes were in the world of espionage. A single failed mission could trigger a global crisis and push the world closer to war. Another famous operation was the Berlin Tunnel. In the 1950s, the CIA and the British spy agency, MI6, dug a long tunnel from West Berlin into East Berlin. The tunnel reached a spot where they could tap into the main communication cables used by the Soviet military. For nearly a year, they listened to secret conversations between Moscow and the Soviet headquarters in East Germany. They gathered a massive amount of intelligence. This was a brilliant technical achievement and a major success for Western intelligence agencies, giving them direct access to their enemies' communications. But even this success had a secret flaw. The KGB knew about the tunnel from the very beginning. A high-level British agent named George Blake was secretly a Soviet spy, and he had told them about the plan before construction even started. The KGB let the operation continue so they could protect their mole and feed the West carefully selected information. This story shows the complex layers of Cold War espionage. A great success could hide an even greater failure. It was a constant game of deception where no one could ever be sure who was tricking whom. The end of the Cold War in 1991 changed the CIA forever. Its main enemy, the Soviet Union, had collapsed. The agency's primary mission for over 40 years was suddenly gone. Many people questioned if the CIA was still needed. The world was no longer divided into two clear sides. New threats were emerging, such as international terrorism, cyber warfare, and the spread of nuclear weapons to smaller countries. The CIA had to adapt to this new and more complicated world. It had to change its focus from a single large enemy to many smaller scattered threats. The lessons learned during the Cold War continued to shape the agency. The rivalry with the KGB taught the CIA the importance of counterintelligence, the work of catching enemy spies. The agency learned hard lessons from its failures, like the Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba, and from its successes, like providing intelligence that helped peacefully resolve the Cuban Missile Crisis. These experiences created a culture of secrecy and risk-taking. The CIA had to learn how to operate in complex political environments and how to use both human spies and advanced technology to gather critical information. The Cold War spy activities had a lasting impact on world events. CIA operations helped contain Soviet influence in some parts of the world, but they also led to instability in others. The agency supported coups and dictators, which sometimes had negative long-term consequences for those countries. These actions created distrust of the United States in many regions. The history of the CIA during the Cold War is a mix of successes that kept the world safe and actions that are still debated today. It shows how secret operations can shape history in powerful and often unpredictable ways. Even though the Cold War is over, espionage remains essential. The world is still a dangerous place with many hidden threats. Spy work is necessary to understand the plans of terrorist groups, prevent cyber attacks, and monitor nations developing dangerous weapons. The methods have changed. Spies now deal with digital data as much as secret documents, but the basic goal is the same as it was in 1947, to gather information that leaders need to protect their country. The legacy of the Cold War shows that having a strong intelligence agency is a vital part of national security in a complex and ever-changing world.